Ladies and gentlemen, up next is our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is the owner of 3 local businesses, the Shack Saipan, the Airstream Cafe, and Go Hydro. Born in Hawaii and raised on Saipan since 1977, he is a product of the Marianas. His mother is originally from Yapen, Palau, and relocated to Saipan in the mid-1960s. He left Saipan in the early 1990s to take care of his terminally ill father in Arizona. Later, he spent 15 years in Hawaii, where he helped found a successful high-tech startup. Upon returning to Saipan 14 years ago, he started a boutique marketing company, Kicks Productions. Afterwards, he spent 5 years as a sales manager for Pacific Trading Company in Saipan and sales director for the Mid-Pacific Distributors Guam. He then held the position of Group Business Manager for Trans-Pacific International Inc., both in Saipan and Guam, for 5 years later. In 2019, he completed the National Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program and became the first from the CNMI to receive a certificate of entrepreneurship from Babson College. He considers himself to be a community advocate who loves the islands and has spent a great deal of time building an active citizenry through his personal example. He has launched or helped launch various community groups, advocates such as Rising Tide, Comprehensive Outreach Recovery Effort, the Commonwealth Advocates for Recovery Efforts, Friends of Marpi, and others. He also contributes time and resources to the Saipan Chamber of Commerce, the Saipan Young Professionals, the Mariana Islands Nature Alliance, ARC, Scouting, MyPro, CCA, NMTI, and many other local groups. He was one of the first Eagle Scouts from the CNMI in 1990, a recipient of the 2015 Saipan Young Professionals Community Leader of the Year Award, and the 2018 nominee for the Saipan Chamber of Commerce Business Person of the Year Award. He currently lives on Saipan with his wonderful wife, Svetlana. He is humbled and filled with gratitude for being selected to be the keynote speaker for this 2019 MHS Commencement Ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome to the stage our 2019 Marianas High School keynote speaker, Glen Hunter.
Thank you guys so much. Okay, let me get my high-tech gadget all set up here. Thank you guys for that warm welcome. That was awesome. Hafaday, Tirawami, and good afternoon. I'd like to start by recognizing and thanking Principal Sherlyn Cabrera, Vice Principals, the faculty, the staff, support teams, the PSS administration, and I also want to congratulate you all for overseeing these amazing individuals on stage in the past years leading up to this momentous day. I would also like to recognize all the parents and guardians of these graduates. You have all done so much and are right to be proud of what these individuals have accomplished today. Welcome to all the other families, friends, community members, dignitaries that are gathered here to witness and join in on this celebration today. Now I'd like to personally recognize our guests of honor and congratulate the entire MHS graduating class of 2019 on what many might consider, as was mentioned earlier, one of the toughest high school stints in the history of the CNMI. You came in as freshmen and were greeted with one of the strongest storms in our history, Super Typhoon Sodalor. You had to endure months with no power, massive damage to your school and homes, yet you pushed on. Then, in your last year as seniors, just as things were finally starting to recover from Sodalor, bam, Super Typhoon U2 came along, and you were hit once again and sent into a downward spiral. No power, damaged facilities, and many of you with major damage to your homes. Some, even now, 7 months later, still living in tents. Yet in spite of such challenges, you did it. Your parents, your teachers, your principals, your staff, the administration, and you did it. You are here today, albeit a few weeks later than normal, graduating. That is truly an amazing feat, and I'd love to just join the audience in congratulating them for such a huge, huge accomplishment. Awesome job, you guys. Last week, I was able to come by and witness one of your rehearsals. I saw all the damage here on campus. I saw you all helping set up this stage, paint it, bring out chairs. It was a sight to see. No one was complaining. Everyone was focused in on the task at hand, focused in on setting up for this very ceremony, your ceremony. It was a beautiful scene. You all did such a spectacular job. That day, I was able to thank you all for inviting me to speak today. I want to personally thank you once again for selecting me. I am so majorly humbled and honored to be given this prestigious opportunity. Thank you. I had initially prepared a keynote speech that was filled with personal stories of people in my life that I found inspiration in. Stories I wanted to share with you in depth. I drafted out the details of my first job, where the general manager, Mr. Terry Short, knew all of the hotel employees by name. He would walk the property daily and acknowledge each of them. He treated them all equally, with respect, regardless of their position. I wanted to elaborate on that story with you and encourage you to treat everyone you meet in life the same way you want to be treated, no matter who they are, no matter their position, no matter where they come from. I wanted to share with you how my wonderful wife, who is here with me today, inspired me. After solar struck and our business was damaged, she, as a business owner, took an entry-level position as a promoter. How she applied herself fully to that job without expectations. I wanted to go into detail about how she rose steadily in the ranks to the position she holds today as Assistant General Manager for that company. How she showcased to me the importance of proper work ethic and how you should never be too proud to take any position. I wrote up an amazing story of my mom, who couldn't be here today but is watching on this internet superhighway thing. A single mother who worked her way up in government to a cabinet position, which, although is normally a highly political position, she maintained it steadily through 5 terms of different governors from the different major parties. How that displayed to me in that young age that doing your job well trumps all the political posturing for positions that some people are used to. I love you, Mom. But last night, as I tweaked my remarks, I had a crisis of conscience. And I found myself unable to finalize that speech. Like your slogan so eloquently put it, I adjusted my sails. I would be remiss if I gave this speech to you today without focusing in on an important issue that's facing our Commonwealth. I'm speaking of the economic turmoil our government is in. While there might not be an easy solution, we must hold our leaders accountable. We must ask tough questions. We must demand answers. So I tossed out that initial speech. And I would like to use this opportunity you have so greatly gave me to put forth a personal call to action. A call to you, graduates, to be active citizens in your community. I fully understand that this is not always an easy thing to do. I know firsthand how difficult it can be. I returned to Saipan 15 years ago after being away for more than 15 years. I returned to rolling blackouts, a collapsing government retirement fund, to austerity measures. I witnessed blatant misgovernance and outright public corruption. It was not easy for me to stand up with a handful of others and demand accountability. It was not easy for me to call out our highest-ranking government officials. I could not, however, sit back and just let it be. I launched email campaigns. I reached out to the press. I shared my thoughts and findings on social media. I voted. I attended and spoke at public hearings. I filed lawsuits demanding justice. I held signs and I protested. None of these things were easy to do initially. But like any muscle in your body, speaking out and being an active citizen does get easier. The more you exercise it and the more you use it. I've been fired by 2 separate private companies here on Saipan. Not because of poor job performance, but because of political pressure from high-ranking government officials. Mine is not a unique case. Many on island have dealt with political retribution. I have no animosity towards these employers. On the contrary, I actually pity them. I pity them because as private business owners, they were not free. They were oppressed by a government that their own tax dollars fund. What a sad situation to be in. I know I never want to be in that situation, to cower to our public servants. I never will. In order for things like that to end, we need you to be active citizens. We need you recent graduates and other community members and business owners to exercise your public voice, to be willing to stand up against political pressure, willing to tell the government that we fund, that we will not be intimidated, that we will not be silent. We need active citizens that are willing to hold our government officials accountable, not only when the issues affect us directly, but when any issue arises that could affect our small community. They say that we get the government that we deserve. I believe we deserve so much more than what we've had in recent history, so much more than what we have today. We have a government that has failed to plan properly, that doesn't properly prioritize, that spends money quicker than they take it in, that is bloated, that is wasteful. We have government officials that focus in on personal gain and self-enrichment at the expense of the entire community. Some say, why bother? I want to let you know that public corruption affects everyone. We live in what should be a paradise. But look at our healthcare system. Look at our infrastructure. Look at our public school system. These are all hemorrhaging. I truly believe that we, the people, have so much power. The situation our government is in is not new. It is not due to a storm. It is not due to lack of funds. It is due to misgovernance. We had large sums of money come through during the Japanese tourist boom, during the garment industry days, during the first couple years of the casino operation. We've had billions in federal monies come into our island. Our government has failed to plan properly, has failed to prioritize spending, and has allowed rampant corruption, all resulting in what we have before us today. You, graduates, can change that. I fully believe that we have it in our power as active citizens to better these islands. But it will require you to read and research, to gain knowledge from higher education or from other people. It will require you to ask those tough questions and demand those answers. It will require you to exercise your voice and to speak out. When I came to your rehearsal a week ago, I asked a few questions of you. Said, how many of you guys plan on going to college? How many of you are headed to work after school? But it was your response to my last question that really caught me. I asked how many of you saw yourself living out here in the CNMI 10 years from today. Only about a fifth of you raised your hands. That was stunning. We in my generation and those before me should be ashamed of that. We were tasked with creating a better place for our children, a place they could call home, and that would want to return to. Yet 80% of you on stage envision yourselves living somewhere else 10 years from now. We hear government and business leaders talk about the brain drain that affects these islands. We talk about the fact that so many of our youth leave and never return after graduating. Yet we have done so little to make these islands more inviting to you, to fight public corruption, to better our infrastructure, to enhance our healthcare system, to prioritize our public school system. So now I call on you graduates to take action. There is a saying from the comedian Lily Tomlin, and it goes something like, I always wondered why somebody didn't do anything about that. Then I realized I was that somebody. You all are that somebody. Always remember that. And don't ever let the fear of being able to make a difference hold you back. As Margaret Mead once said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, concerned citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. I believe this. So many active citizens throughout history have challenged their governments and made monumental changes for the better. This month, we celebrate Pride Month in honor of the LGBTQ community. That wasn't always the case. Thankfully, active citizens spoke up against unequal treatment and discrimination. Those small groups' voices pushed us forward, no different than the active citizens who challenged slavery or fought for women's rights. It's all very possible. You have so much power, graduates. Believe it. I speak strongly about this to you today, not out of hatred or out of anger, but because I love these islands so very much. I am a product of these islands. Nearly 3 decades ago, I graduated from high school out here. My great-grandfather was a master navigator who sailed these waters. This is my home. I also speak strongly about this to you today because I have hope. You all give me that hope. I have watched what all of you have been able to achieve through the years. Aside from the resilience through the 2 super typhoons, you've done so many amazing things. I'm going to stretch this a little long and just touch on some of the accolades that I came across that just stunned me. You secured a win in the mock trial competition this year. You guys, you headed to the Guam Music Fest and you took home a ton of golds and a silver. You placed in every category at the Guam Chamorro Language Festival this year. Through the years, you've won numerous awards in the National Real World Design Competitions. You've won the Outrigger Championship, the Volleyball Championship, numerous individual sports, numerous group athletic awards. You took 3rd place in this year's AG's Cup. You developed a diabetes app that was showcased at a national coding competition. You've displayed beautiful pieces of art throughout the island, including amazing murals right here on campus. Rhythm and Harmony has won numerous medals across the island. You've done cleanup and environmental projects to better these islands. You've held numerous plays, concerts, and performances throughout the years. I can honestly go on and on. You are all so amazing. I am so proud to be speaking to you right now. I am so hopeful. Give yourselves a round of applause. I realize now that I can't ask you to be active citizens. You already are active citizens. I ask you instead that you build on that and that you continue to be those active citizens. In closing, let me jump back to a final story that was in my initial speech, the one I threw away. As you know, I run a small cafe. I wanted to tell you a story and showcase how it's possible for you to start your own business from scratch. and to run it successfully, hand in hand, while being an active citizen. After 6 years, I'd like to think that I've showcased that. You selecting me to speak here today is a testament of that. Thank you so much. Gandhi once said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And Hawkins added, "We change the world not by what we say, but as a consequence of what we have become." I've been doing just that. Every person that enters our little cafe is greeted with warm smiles, friendly atmosphere, and when they leave, our appreciation is expressed with 3 simple words: I love you. I want this world to be filled with love. I've created a culture of love. I want to be that change. I want that to be the world I live in. Congratulations again. You are all individually incredible people. Always remember that. I love you guys. Thank you. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Glen Hunter. Also, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Short announcement. If you own the following cars: license plate AF0901, a Hyundai Blue Tucson, and the license plate AFE951, a Mazda 3 Red, please move it out of the emergency exit or else you will be towed. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the ceremony.
Thank you so much, Mr. Glen Hunter.